What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dropshipping and No Bullshit podcast. We have Preston here. So I want to introduce Preston first, and then you introduce yourself, right?
Okay, great.
So Preston is from the US. Those of you guys who don't follow me on YouTube or Instagram, we have this thing called the Dropship House. I had something called Grind Camp. I invite people to come to stay here in Nicaragua who's done things that I would like to learn from. And Preston is one of those people. And he's also the only human that I know that I talk about dropshipping on eBay, Amazon, and Shopify. And you are the only person that I know, only human that I know that successfully runs eBay, Amazon, and Shopify dropshipping businesses relatively long term. Even when you lost eBay, you got back. So I think that's cool as fuck. And that is kind of what I want to talk about. But that's who, in my head, and you're also the calmest person I know.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, my name's Preston. I am originally from California, currently a resident of Nevada. I don't have any plans to ever move back to California. But yeah, I have a kind of a unique relationship and perspective on Mark. I feel like I'm the person that's been able to see like everything that's been going on these past few years, like from behind the scenes, just because I've spent so much time around Mark, kind of like in the vicinity of all the things he's building and doing.
Yeah, like even before I had a child.
Yeah, that's true.
You were like, you've seen everything. Anyway, yeah. So I want to talk about today. First, I want you to talk about your drop shipping start. If I remember correctly, it was in Shopify.
Yeah.
And then we just see where it goes from there, right? We'll talk about the eBay, Amazon stuff, the differences, how you can manage all three and what it takes and all this stuff.
Yeah, okay. So I can just tell you like my story, I guess. So I went to university in California, just to a state school right next to my house. I didn't want to like move out of state to go to school, take on debt. Like I had that perspective.
Right. It was a financial decision.
Yeah, I'm like, why do smart business people go to really expensive business schools to go into a lot of debt? Like that doesn't make any sense. So I just went to like my state school next to my house, drove there, commuted. So I was able to save money that way, get a decent education, not go into debt. So I was very happy about that. I studied business management and accounting, but by my senior year, I knew like I just can't really see myself like being an accountant or like sitting at a desk job every day. Like that thought just kind of depressed me. So I think I was really open to, I don't know, other alternative types of living or making money. So I guess I was listening to a lot of podcasts while working for my family business. So I would drive a truck delivering foods to catering events. So on my commutes, I would listen to different podcasts and somehow got into learning about e-commerce and ways to make money on the internet. So that really intrigued me. The podcast that interested me a lot or kind of introduced me to e-commerce businesses was called Travel Like a Boss. So the host of that podcast talked about his Shopify business that he started while living in Thailand. So eventually I purchased that course and was committed to making it work. And so that's where I first started learning about e-commerce, was from that course. And through that, I built my first Shopify store. It took probably 2 months at least just to choose like what type of products I wanted to sell and to actually build it. And
like it took 2 months to choose a niche and
like
the products and everything.
Yeah, like learn how to actually build the website and then set up the business structure and call companies and get accounts with them and just figuring it all out and setting up the marketing to get advertising going. So that's how I started. And I'm trying to remember how long I did that for before I actually booked a ticket to Thailand and went to Thailand.
Okay.
So I was probably doing that for maybe 6 months, just doing that while still working in my family's business. But yeah, I landed like an internship type thing, you could say, with Johnny, who was the host of that podcast, to start another Shopify store with him.
So before you get there, so that's 6 months, right? You set up the store, 2 months, 6 months run it while working. Was it making any money?
Yeah, I was making some money, not as much as I make from it now, but yeah, a little bit.
And this is the first store you started?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And why do you think, have you interacted with other people that have tried to start stores and actually finished the store and failed? Or like, do you think, I don't know if you've interacted with enough people who do Shopify to know the differences, right, between you and...
Yeah, I didn't ever interact with anyone personally, but I remember going on the forums and like just reading as many forum threads as I could from people who had questions about maybe the problems they were facing in their business. And I would like send people a bunch of messages like, hey, how's it going? Are you still running your store? And that type of thing. But no, I never personally interacted with anyone. But I had like the belief that, okay, I know that people are making it work, so I know I can do it.
Okay. So you just chose, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know like what the success or fail rate is.
Right.
But I knew I could do it. That was
I think that's, so a lot of times, this is going to go off a bit, but a lot of times when I see any level of success, it usually, so you saying you believe you could do it because other people could do it. I always ask people why they think, like, most success in business comes from you doing something you didn't do before, right? And even small things, like when I see guys that work here at NIAT and stuff who started the whole videography thing but didn't initially start that, I always wanted to figure out why you thought you could do it, right? And it's when people get in, part of what I try to do is like show success for that same reason, because as long as you just kind of like, okay, if someone else did it, it took some time, it took a little bit of money, I have the time and money, like I could do it also. I think too many people get into things and just like they don't even believe they could do it. And then, you know what I mean? Like I think the internet's full of so much nonsense, so people get into it. They're like, let me just try it because I see people talking about it. It might be a good way to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but if they don't have that commitment, then it'll, like any small reason will be the reason, like, oh, okay, it's not worth it, or it won't work for me. Right.
So the 6 months you made some money, and then you went to Thailand.
Yeah.
And then you built this store with.
Yeah. So basically, like what you did with the dropship house, it felt kind of similar over there because there was maybe 8 of us who were all like meeting a couple times a week, just talking about what we needed to do that week to build the next store. Yeah.
But all 8 of those people partnered with
Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, gee. So he had, and were all 8 stores successful? Like
no.
Okay.
Because some people dropped out, or maybe they just stopped. Yeah, just stopped.
Okay.
But yeah, that was his intention, to like have everyone build store together, and then after a year sell it, and then he would take maybe X percentage,
whatever percentage,
25% or something.
Okay. And so that store you did with Johnny, you have that store still?
Yeah, I still have that store. So the problem with business partnerships is if one partner is a silent partner and the dropshipping business model doesn't require like capital investment, if someone's not going to actively try to grow the store, once you've already like learned like the type of knowledge that they have, there's really no motivation for me to continue to try really hard to grow the store when I have a 25% anchor pulling me down. So I did eventually buy out his equity, so I still have that store, but I haven't like actively focused on growing it. I just kind of let it sit there and make a few $100s a month right now.
Okay. All right, so you've been doing, and when was this? When did you start this whole dropshipping?
2000, it had to have been 2016.
Right, so 3 years. So you've had one store, I guess, for about 3 years, and the second store for what, like 2 years, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so that was your first kind of in. Then,
while I was in Thailand, just being around, it's in the city of Chiang Mai, Thailand, so it's like kind of like a popular place where other location independent type people travel to. It's just like a cheap city, great infrastructure, lifestyle, everything. So people go there. So it's pretty easy to meet other people doing internet related
yeah.
businesses. So that's when I discovered that people were doing eBay.